All right, I'm just looking. There's new things on the menu. I'm just looking for where all the new things are at. It's like,
Yeah, Ted.
are you talking to me?
I thought you were talking to me.
No. Okay. So there's new things on the menu, so I'm trying to figure out where everything's at. It'll take me just a sec. If it takes me an extra sec to figure out where stuff is at, that's what's happening. So you know. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. This is my YouTube page, Mox News, and this is your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. Thanks so much for tuning in, because it's always better when you're here. Never forget. I have many videos for you tonight. I have at least 12, and then a couple more that I think you're going to want to see. So, thanks for tuning in. This is my... Shush! Let's see. We'll start with purple sunsets and blue moons and yellow stars and green clovers. Okay? Or green marijuana leaves, or green flowers. Green flowers. That sounds pretty good. Let's see. So I have a video about all kinds of stuff. You know, not about Tiger Woods. If you want to talk about Tiger Woods, you probably won't like what I have to say about Tiger Woods. so, so there you go. You probably don't need my opinion. It's so weird. It's just everywhere on the news. Like, you know, like we're in the middle of this for the last year plus. We're in the middle of this thing, this pandemic, this deadly pandemic, this going to plague, this going to kill us all the way around the world. Everybody, it's going to kill us. If you get breathed on at the grocery store, you're going to die. And every single day for the last year, that's all they can talk about. And Tiger Woods dies, and it's like, ah. It's so weird. Pics of weed. We should do more pics of weed. I agree. So thanks again for tuning in, you guys. I have an interesting new video for you, but it's
Here's a
important that
suggestion.
you
Just don't be a-holes.
an a-hole.
Here's a suggestion. Just
Because
don't be
otherwise, I'm not
a-holes.
going to play it for
Here's
you.
a suggestion.
So you know. Was I sitting in front of her? It looked like I was sitting in front of her. Let's see. Oh, that would be awesome. You think we have a lot of CIA agents that want to call? Because I don't think that they'll call. I don't think the CIA agents or the FBI agents have the balls to call. Because they know I will pwn their bitch asses. Don't you, CIA? Ha! What a joke. Suit-wearing motherfuckers. Those guys in Afghanistan with the beards like I got, those are real CIA agents. Not these pussies wearing fucking penny loafers and shit. Fuck you, you panty waist. Bring it. Come on, call now. We know you're listening. Go ahead. Operators are standing by. I have news videos. You want me to play news videos? Let's see. What news video would you like to see tonight? I have all kinds of news videos. Let's see. You want to see about the new Biden tax plan? Biden has a new tax plan. Oh, how about the fact that in the COVID-19 relief bill that they're pushing through Congress now in the next couple days, that Kanye West gets millions of dollars for security. I'm sorry, billionaire Kanye West is getting millions of dollars in security relief or tax relief or something for his security. That's in the bill. Kanye gets this. I can play that video for you. While we wait for a caller, All right, the number's right there on the screen, 805-669-6397. This is a call-in show, people. You know how it's done. You do it every day. Call now.
Taking a live look at our nation's capital, where later this week the Democratic-controlled House is expected to approve President Biden's $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief proposal. A House Budget Committee voted yesterday to advance that bill.
But what's in it? Sinclair National correspondent Christine Frizzell has a look at some items that are raising eyebrows and the other bills passed during the pandemic.
From tax deductions for racehorse owners to money for new museums honoring women and Latinos to $2 billion for Space Force. The previous rounds of coronavirus relief bills were chock full of items not entirely related to, well, coronavirus relief. One of the most shocking provisions in last year's first round of relief, paycheck protection money doled out to dozens of celebrities, including more than $2 million for Tim McGraw and Faith Hill's clothing company. More than $2 million as well for the sneaker company owned by Kanye West, who himself is worth around $1.3 billion, according to Forbes magazine.
And they think money's for free and there are no repercussions. Just shake the free money tree. We have this enormous debt, so you have to borrow the money, and ultimately as we print more money, we're going to devalue and we'll destroy the value of the currency we do have.
With the use of the reconciliation process this time around, it only requires a simple majority to pass it. But government watchdogs say there's also a major benefit, much more transparency, that unlike with previous COVID relief bills, lawmakers are actually getting a chance to read this one first.
In December, there was a 5,600-page omnibus spending bill that was dropped 2 hours before the vote.
Adam Andrzejewski with the government watchdog group Open the Book says the current bill may have fewer pages, but still has its fair share of what he calls wasteful spending.
This bill provides $200 million for the Institute of Library and Museum Services. Their annual budget is $230 million. It nearly doubles their annual budget.
Budgets in nearly every corner of the economy, though, devastated as a result of the pandemic. Democrats saying most of what's in the bill is helpful to the country as a whole.
What the American people are saying in overwhelming numbers is we are hurting. We are worried about our kids. We're worried about our parents. Help us.
I'm Christine Frizzell, Como News.
Developing now, Google and JP Morgan Chase are joining forces to help minority-owned banks increase their lending power. The new initiative, called Empowering Change, will give those banks access to resources like corporate clients that will bring new revenue streams to the bank and the community. Google is investing $500 million in money market share funds for the program. JP Morgan will receive an annual management fee for the investment assets they're offering. They also plan to donate a portion of that to community developing groups.
Some good news for Macy's. The department store is reporting a profit for the first time in a year. The company says it made $160 million during its last quarter. And while that is an improvement during the pandemic, it's also a decline of $340 million compared to the same time last year.
So some lawmakers in Congress say they're willing to compromise on President Biden's proposal to raise the minimum wage to $15 per hour. Republican Senators Mitt Romney and Tom Cotton proposing raising the minimum wage to $10 by 2025. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin has said he'd support a minimum wage of $11. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, though, says President Biden isn't budging. The Congressional Budget Office estimates a $15 minimum wage would kill 1.4 million jobs while lifting nearly 1 million Americans out of poverty.
See him coughing at the end? He's not going to last much longer. Camilla 2022. I'm telling you, hashtag Camilla 2022 is on every one of my videos, except for this one because we're talking about important stuff. At least we know Kanye West is safe, right? Because that's important, damn it. I need to know that our billionaires are safe. I bet you the millions of dollars that he's getting in the COVID-19 relief bill, the millions of dollars that he's getting, I bet you they're totally tax-free. What? All right, so we can start there, people. But the question is, how long do you believe we should continue spending trillions of dollars on the drug war? which has brought us a heroin epidemic and a meth epidemic and a crime epidemic. Because the drug war creates a black market, and the black market creates giant amounts of crime. Not just what goes on in the black market, but it floods the criminal gangs with a never-ending river of money. So this is the quickest way to defund the police, to end crime. If you actually care about crime and stopping crime, this is the quickest way to do it. End the motherfucking drug war. Get a clue. Look at what it's brought us so far. It's simple. All you have to do is care, and you can see the truth. And it's brought us so many other things, that are just horrible. This ever-growing police state. We're it's no wonder the cops look at us all like criminals, because you're basically breaking laws every day that you don't even know exist, let alone if you're living your life the way you choose to, in which you smoke the substances you wish to smoke, not what's available at the fucking grocery store, then you're under the thumb of the government, of the police state, just waiting for them to squash you like a bug. And again, people don't seem to understand what this does to who they are, to how they live their lives. Even if it doesn't matter, if you like me, I say it doesn't matter to me that the government's listening. I don't really care. I really don't care, because I don't want to put any energy into that. I don't want to. It's like, fuck the government, fuck the police. If they wanted to fuck with me, they have so much. I'm telling you, they got files on me like this. And it's not because I've ever done anything criminal, as far as you know. But it's not just the police. It's the Vatican themselves. Okay, you understand? The Vatican has their own police force. They're their own country. You get that, right? The Vatican has a folder with my name on it, stacked this tall. So you guys know that's who I am. So, in case you were wondering, in case you're new today, again, I have bunches of videos. If you guys want me just to play more videos, I can just play more videos, because I actually can do that. I come prepared. And I will do that now. Let's see. How about we'll start here then. If you guys want to be this way, we'll just run through the videos, and I can get on to gardening.
New tonight, the White House digging in on Neera Tanden, President Biden's pick to run the Office of Management and Budget, saying they feel good about her confirmation, but this comes as her confirmation is on the brink of collapse over her tweets. Tanden is controversial for several reasons, but those who want to derail her nomination are specifically pointing to her tweets, which is a first for a cabinet nominee. Republican senators, who of course were pretty much silent through years of Trump's tweets, are now suddenly outraged.
Calling Mitch McConnell Moscow Mitch is probably not a very good thing to say.
You've called Republicans criminally ignorant, corrupt, and the worst.
You wrote that Susan Collins is, quote, the worst, that Tom Cotton is a fraud, that vampires have more heart than Ted Cruz.
Okay, to be sure, inappropriate tweets. Those tweets about those senators are insulting. But not one of the senators you just heard had any trouble voting to confirm former President Trump's ambassador to Germany, Rick Grinnell. Now, Rick Grinnell, anyone who knows him, was happy to tweet disparaging comments about a whole host of people, talking about Michelle Obama's appearance, Newt Gingrich's weight, suggesting that Joe Biden used Botox, going after President Obama's daughter. Ironically, we cannot show you Rick Grinnell's tweets because, like Tanden, he has deleted many of them. All of this has led noted conservative Bill Kristol to say of Tandon, quote, "I feel like there's a little bit of sexism going on here. It just seems like these tweets sound harsher to these old guys because they're coming from a woman." Now, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who may have all but killed Tandon's nomination when he said he opposed it, right? You got to have that vote in a 50-50 split Senate. He also voted to confirm Grinnell in 2018, and he says Tandon's tweets, quote, "will have a toxic and detrimental impact on her relationships in Congress." Out front now, Dana Bash, our anchor and chief political correspondent, and Michael Shmerkanish, host of Shmerkanish. So, Dana, you're doing a whole lot of reporting on the Tandon situation. Interesting things. I know you've been hearing about a possible double standard at play here, but here's the real question. Is anyone saying this is sexism or not?
Well, I have been communicating with lawmakers all day, more than a half a dozen, mostly women. And the general gist that I've heard is that, of course, there is sexism in general, because it is, it is sort of implicit here, and it tends to be when there is a controversial woman, particularly a woman of color. As somebody said to me, when there's a man who is aggressive and acerbic, he sometimes is called bold. When it's a woman, she's a bitch, right? Having said that, I actually heard more from even and especially women that on this particular issue, it is more than that. It is more than sexism. It is the content of what she was saying, and especially in light of the bar that the man who nominated her set for people in his administration. So when you talk about Rick Grinnell, yeah, I mean, he was vile on Twitter, but so was his boss, the President of the United States. Joe Biden is different, and that is why the perception here is a bit different. And never mind the fact that there is a completely different situation with regard to fellow Democrats.
So, Michael, it's a really interesting point, right? Because just because one person tweets badly and gets nominated, it doesn't mean another person should, right? I don't want to be like, let's just compound the inappropriate behavior. But I do note here that you have Republicans who were happy to vote for a guy, who talked about people's weight and they should use Botox and Michelle Obama's appearance, all the things that Rick Grinnell did, among others, and yet now are very offended by things that Neera Tandon has said.
Sexism, I'm not sure. Hypocrisy, a very easy case to prove based on what you've displayed.
Yeah.
I think that, it's unbecoming of someone who wishes to serve at the cabinet level. And frankly, like Grinnell, I think that the deletion looks wholly incriminating. Big mistake in retrospect. But, the point I think you're really making, Aaron, is that they're setting a bar because they're saying, well, this is at odds with the mantra of now President Biden about unity and comity, I-T-Y. Well, okay, if you're going to articulate that standard, and I'm saying this now not to the president, but to the members of the Senate who are standing in her way, you yourselves better be ready to live to it, because implicit in that is we've all reached a point now where we're going to get along and act like adults. Okay, I'm waiting to be shown.
So, Dana, let's now talk about Joe Manchin, because he stands out here, right? He's the one who's going to torpedo this if he votes no, as he said he's going to. He did vote for Grinnell. Mm-hmm. He says, though, that his opposition to Neera Tandon is not personal. Here's what he said.
There's been some complaint that your opposition to Neera Tandon is sexist. What do you make of that?
Are you going to...
So what's your reporting on where he's coming from, Dana?
Look, Joe Manchin, you're right. He was very open about the fact that it was the content of the many statements that Neera Tandon has made about Republicans and Democrats, and he reviewed a lot of them. But he, like Susan Collins, for example, my understanding is that it's the fact, as Michael said, that she deleted a lot of them, that it's a judgment issue. But for Joe Manchin, it's something bigger. And that is, again, the promise that President Biden made to be bipartisan, to change the tone and tenor of Washington. And he is very openly not happy with the fact that there hasn't been more bipartisan outreach, let's say, on the COVID-19 relief bill. I'm not saying that he's using this as a way to send a message, but it is unique for someone like him. He's a former governor. He is somebody who historically likes to give the chief executive, in this case, it's the president, the nominees that they want. So it does say a lot.
So, Michael, then what about the White House tonight saying they feel good about her confirmation? Are they just on another planet? I mean, if you don't have Joe Manchin, that means you're counting on getting a Republican. What do you see here?
Well, right. And the usual suspects among Republicans, Susan Collins, Mitt Romney et al., are not showing any indication. In fact, they're showing every...
She's a bitch,
All right.
right?
Enough of those people.
She's a bitch, right?
I guess
She's
ready
a
to have a
bitch,
puff. I'm
right?
about ready for a puff.
She's a bitch,
I just couldn't.
She's a bitch,
I can't
right?
really take so much of those.
She's
people,
a bitch, right?
But I couldn't
She's
resist
a bitch,
that clip.
right?
I
She's a
figure
bitch,
I will have
right?
a chance to use
She's
it
a
again
bitch,
and again
right?
and again.
She's a
like,
bitch, right?
You know,
She's a
when we get
bitch,
a caller
right?
who's
She's
like
a bitch,
a
right?
pain.
She's a bitch,
She's a bitch.
right? She's a bitch,
Like when
right?
Steve McClanahan calls,
She's a
I'll just
bitch,
put that
right?
on over and over again.
She's a bitch, right? She's a bitch, right? She's a bitch, right? She's a bitch, right? She's a bitch, right?
I love that sound.
What's up, man?
What's up, you
She's a
fucking
bitch,
beautiful
right?
son of a bitch?
She's a bitch, right?
How you doing?
I'm.
You fucking handsome bastard. I just want to say that I love you from the bottom of my heart, cocksucker. You hear me?
Yes, but I'd like it better if you left the cocksucker part off.
That just means I love you more, dog. That's love. That's love from the heart.
Not that I have a problem with. Not that I have a problem with cocksuckers. I just, don't particularly like being called one.
Nah, bro. That just means I love you. I wouldn't do shit on you if I didn't love you. You got that, cocksucker? I love you. All right. I don't have shit to say. I have nothing to say. I'm about to get fired voluntarily from my job.
Well, I was going to ask you when you start your new job.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm laying here in bed.
You didn't.
I'm thinking I'm just going to not show up to work because I'm so frustrated with my job. I'm going to say,
did you get hired at the new job yet?
No, but it doesn't matter, dude.
Well, it does matter if they have to call the old job and they hear that, yeah, he was the total dick. He was like, fuck you, cocksuckers.
Mike.
Yes.
It don't matter, bro. It don't matter. I have so many connections, not to suck my own cock, but, I got a lot of connections out there. I don't got to worry about what these fucking dickheads have to say about me.
Oh, well, that's really good. I'm glad to hear that.
Cause I'm a man, dog. I'm not trying to suck my own cock here, but I'm a man.
You're a little obsessed with sucking cocks.
I think Joe Jackson wrote a song about that called "I'm the Man," which I've been listening to a lot lately. But I don't have a lot to say, dog. I'm laying here in my bed, depressed about my work, drinking alcohol. I gotta fucking stop smoking weed too, cause I'm worried about a drug test. So I've not been smoking weed, so I'm extra on edge. But, I like I said, I got nothing to say. I just want to call in and say that you, sir, are the man. I love you to death. God bless. Shout out, Craig. You guys rule. What the fuck? Keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to lay in bed and maybe have another drink. And then I'm going to pretend that I have COVID tomorrow so I can quarantine myself for at least 2 weeks. And then after that, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do after that. Maybe I'll just be like, you can all suck my dick.
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, milk it, right? Fake COVID, I've been exposed, quote unquote, I've been exposed. Milk another 2 weeks day. And then go fuck my cock. Maybe I'll have another job by then. Who knows?
Well, you should do what you want to do, man. If you want to have a job, I keep, my friend Sam, he keeps saying, I got to get a job. And I'm like, really? Why?
I have enough saved where I could not work for a good 4.5 months. and still live comfortably. I'd wipe out all my savings, but who gives a fuck about that? I'll just earn it all back anyways, right?
It seems like to me that you're probably pretty good at that. Earning, that is.
I don't give a fuck, bro. Let it all burn. That's what I say. Let it all burn to the fucking ground. It's all shit anyway. Why am I gonna burn with it?
Yeah.
I'll take one step aside and watch it burn. How about that?
I think taking a step to the side is a very important option to have, and you should consider it always.
Yeah, I wouldn't if I didn't have so many connections, and if I didn't have the chance to get a better job so quickly, I may not feel that way. But I'm lucky enough. I'm lucky and I'm hardworking enough where I do have those connections. So I can safely say at this point in my life that y'all can suck my dick. I work hard. I worked hard my whole fucking life. And why the fuck do I now have to carry the extra burden of work at a company?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yo, I'm still here.
Okay.
Yo, why? This is, and I think a lot of Americans will relate to what the fuck I'm saying right now when I say, is that why do regular Americans, particularly in a pandemic of all things, which corporate America, they're not dealing well with, but why do regular Americans have to deal with the brunt of the pain and suffering that comes from poor management and poor leadership from our companies? And that's what I'm dealing with right now. And let me tell you, bro, that's not some shit that a regular American has to deal with. That's the management's problem. That's the leadership's problem. They don't pay me enough to solve these problems. I mean, if they wanted to pay me enough, maybe I would consider it. But they don't. It's just that's America in a nutshell, bro. They try to squeeze all the little people as much as they can, and cut corners, and for every 5 people they fire, they hire one person, to replace them. It's just a fucking disaster. So I say, all you fucking greedy cocksuckers, suck my dick. Every American should do this. There's better opportunities out there. This is a great country. If you're not happy at your job, there is better opportunities out there, people. This is the best country in the fucking world, and you'll find it out there. And that's what I'm saying. Fuck this shit. I'm not bearing the fucking brunt of the responsibility because you guys don't know how to run your business, bro. I know a lot of Americans out there feel it's like, and you got to get the balls and say, suck my dick, all right? Suck my fucking dick. I'm going to take the money that I fucking saved up, and maybe I'll take a little vacation for a few months, and then I'll get a new job. Y'all can blow me, all right? That's what I say. That's what I say.
Well, I'm glad you got it out, Pete.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for listening. You've always been really good at that. I appreciate you listening to what I have to say. I got to get out this venom, dog. It's all built up.
I just think it's probably this job that you have that you don't like. I mean, you should just move on to something that you do like and be around better people.
I did. And that's the thing. I used to love this job. I used to love it so much, man. It was like a family. We all used to be like a family, bro. It's not like that no more.
Yeah.
So, it's all right. That's all good. That's America, man. That's work. I guess that's work. That's work life. So, fucking A. Anyways, I'll get on with my life. You can get on with your program. Talking about my personal bullshit like anyone gives a fuck. Michael, I love you.
Pete, you'll get through it, man.
Keeping on.
Just stay cool, bro.
Keep on keeping. Keep on rocking in the free world.
There you go.
And praise Allah. I love you.
Talk to you soon. Okay, so that's our buddy Pete from Rhode Island. I hope he's doing okay because he's a good guy And I just, I don't want people to be unhappy for no reason. Okay, if you're getting a new job, then that's great. If you're, if you're quitting a job that you hate, that's great. You should feel happy about that. Not angry, upset. It's like you have all these contacts. You're gonna do something cool in the world if that's what you want to do, or else you're just gonna go hang out on the beach. That's pretty cool options to have. You should feel good, not angry, sad, upset. I'm just saying, you stay cool, we'll get through it. Okay, so I have more videos. Is that what you want? Is that really what you want, people? Apparently not. Let's see. Oh, this is an important video about Daniel Prude and the fact that no police officer will face charges.
Developing tonight, 7 Rochester, New York police officers who were suspended after they were captured on body camera video holding Daniel Prude on the ground while he was naked will not face criminal charges in connection to his death. It is a significant moment in a case that put a spotlight on restraining techniques used by police.
On the ground. Put your hands behind your back. Behind your back.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
move.
The incident happened in March, but only came to light in September, sparking nights of violent protests in Rochester and outrage across the country. Prude's family originally called for help that night.
I placed a phone call for my brother to get help, not for my brother to get lynched.
Police say when they found Prude, he was on drugs and not cooperating. Officers then put a spit hood over his head to restrain him and pressed his head into the ground. Maneuvers lawyers for the officers say was proper protocol.
You can see through it, you can hear through it, you can breathe through it. And I presume that all of you can continue to hear me.
His death, while tragic, was the result of that acute involuntary intoxication and not the result of anything the officers did or did not do.
Prude stopped breathing and died in the hospital several days later. The autopsy report lists his cause of death as asphyxia in the setting of physical restraint and cites the drug PCP as a contributing factor. Since that night, allegations of a cover-up within the department and questions about who knew what, when.
The mayor and the police chief have the ability to stop the violence.
Tonight, New York State Attorney Letitia James says she is extremely disappointed by the grand jury's decision.
The criminal justice system is badly in need of reform. The system was built to protect and shield officers from wrongdoing and accountability. The system too often allows officers to use deadly force unnecessarily and without consequence. And that is a system that at its core is broken.
In other news tonight, the mother of a black man who was chased and killed by white men while jogging in Georgia has now filed a civil lawsuit claiming her son's civil rights were violated. Ahmaud Arbery's mother filed the civil lawsuit today. It's exactly 1 year after her 25-year-old son was killed in Brunswick. The lawsuit accuses the suspects and local authorities who first responded to the shooting scene with violating Arbery's civil rights. The shooter, Travis McMichael, his father, and a neighbor were arrested months later on charges of murder. Their attorneys say they believed Arbery was a burglar. Members of Arbery's family joined a memorial procession this evening through the subdivision where he was killed. A candlelight vigil was also held at a church in his mother's hometown, where Arbery is now buried.
All right, so fucking Tiger. I thought that those are probably both important stories, and you guys want to hear about it because all that I've heard about on the mainstream media is, Tiger Woods. All day, every day, Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods. Oh, Tiger Woods. Why is anybody worth $1 billion driving himself around, right? Why are you doing that? Why are you driving yourself? You must have better things to do. You must have, I mean, whatever it is, you know, whether it be chatting on the phone, you know, having a little party in the back of your car, whatever it is in your limo, or whatever kind of car you have, you must have better things to do than be focused on driving, on all the action and everything going on around you. You know, when you have so many other things happening in the world that you have to think about. I don't know why. Why would you be driving? It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me. But I haven't had a driver's license for a long time either. You know, doesn't make. I have found that it really harshes my buzz, and I pay a lot to get that buzz. So, or at least I used to when I stopped driving. Now I just grow my own weed. But you know what I'm saying? I hate to harsh my buzz. I hate it. So it's very difficult when you're behind the wheel in a police state, and you know that they're ready to fuck with you at any given moment, especially if you look like me. Right? So that's where we're at. Got the number on the screen. It's a call-in show. I have many other videos to play. We better get to them. Unless, of course, you want to call. But I think what we'll do is we'll play a video about Biden's gun control plan. How about that? Does that sound like something you'd like to hear? Biden's plan for gun control.
Well, it was only a matter of time. President Biden now pushing Congress to take up his gun control wish list, which includes a litany of lefty policies, including funding for community violence programs, mandatory background checks, a ban on so-called assault rifles and high-capacity magazines, and more. Man, I wonder what that kind of plan will do for gun stocks, like Smith & Wesson, which has been down in the past month. Sturm, Ruger and Company, which has also been trading lower, but did announce new hires last week in Ammo Incorporated that has been soaring for the past month. In the meantime, some Democrats urging Biden to skip Congress and just take executive action on guns. So how long until your gun freedoms get shot to pieces? Joining me now, townhall.com editor and this week's host of Fox News Primetime at 7 p.m. in the East, 4 in the West. It is Katie Pavlich. Great job tonight, Katie.
Thank you. It's great to see you.
You too. Not great news about what this president is intended to do in terms of gun control. What is most problematic for you here?
Well, what's most problematic is that the Biden White House is not reading the room on the issue of gun control. You know, last year we had new record numbers in terms of the number of purchases. 40% of new gun purchases last year were first-time gun owners, and they aren't your typical, racially stereotyped white guy who's buying these firearms. It's women. It's, African Americans. It went up 58% of African Americans buying guns over the previous years. So it's very diverse in terms of who is buying these guns. And their argument is, well, there's been a record number of sales, legal sales, by the way, and therefore we need to crack down on it. Now, I think people in Congress and Democrats know that this is something that legislatively won't get done, which makes it, I think, even more dangerous because you have executive action being taken through the Justice Department. So if you'll remember, back during the Obama administration, they had Operation Choke Point, where they pressured banks, they pressured transactional services, financial transaction services to not go through with gun purchases or to freeze the assets of gun companies. And of course, if you can't get your hands on a firearm, that's also an infringement on Second Amendment rights. You have this new bill in the House saying that you have to be mentally fit to own a firearm. But what's the definition of that? Because you're a libertarian, as John Brennan warned about, or you're right-leaning in terms of who you vote for? Does that make you unqualified to own a firearm?
Yeah, that's what really I found to be very problematic is mental illness is such a broad term. And that was lumped into the new legislation proposed in the House. But you also have, the same old distinctions about weapons by people who know nothing about weapons. Like, the idea of weapons of war and assault rifles, which are cosmetic distinctions and they don't really do anything.
Well, they try to own the language on this. So we've seen that they use the term assault rifle. They use the terms weapons of war to scare people into agreeing with their overreach and their infringement on the Second Amendment. We're seeing it now with the language change. You notice they don't call themselves gun control groups anymore. They call themselves gun violence prevention groups. And they think that, they lump all of the people who own firearms into the same category, and they don't, they keep calling for these background checks. Let's remember, on record, 22 million new purchases were made last year. Every single one of them went through an FBI background check. So they make it sound like we don't have a background check system.
Yep,
but there's
that
no
you can
such
just
thing.
go to 7-Eleven.
You can just get it mailed to your door, which is not true.
Exactly.
And the pandemic changed that because in all the unrest last year, you had a lot of people in California at the beginning of the pandemic going to gun stores and getting very frustrated that they couldn't just walk out the door with their new firearm because there was a waiting period. So people, I think, are waking up to all of the restrictions that have been put onto this. But my fear is how they go through ATF, what they do with these regulation changes they can make overnight without telling the public.
What about going after ammo?
Oh, and of course, going after ammunition, right? Your firearm is really no good if you can't get ammunition. So we've heard a lot about ammunition tax. That's something that President Biden supports. That's in this House bill. We've heard a lot about not being able to get ammunition across state lines. So if you live in a place that doesn't have an ammunition factory, for example, you can't buy it in another state. So they're going after everything that they can. But I think what you said about the mental health aspect is absolutely an issue, because how do you prove that someone is, quote, unfit to own a firearm?
Hey, man, if the police had been defunded in your town, whether it's Seattle or Minneapolis, how are you going to protect yourself and your family? I just want to know that. If there's a 30-minute lag time in police showing up for a 911 call, what are you supposed to do in the meantime? And this is from the same group of very logical people. Yeah. Katie Pavlich, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kennedy.
Knock 'em dead on the 7 o'clock. We'll be watching every night.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
You're awesome.
All right. So let's see. I have more videos, no callers. I am just here trying to do this thing that I do, okay, which is connect with you guys, enjoy, sharing knowledge, talking about what's happening today or whatever's on your mind, and, maybe making something good happen. So if you're interested in that, the telephone numbers are. The whole idea is that YouTube is censoring, everybody is censoring everyone's comments online, right? They just, you say something and they delete it. And it's not even necessarily a person. And so, it's not just YouTube, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's everything, right? You put the wrong hashtag in your Twitter account, it's gone. So, this way, when we sidestep the censors, we sidestep the algorithm. If you guys want to talk, we can talk. You guys talk all the time about the vaccine and all these things that get censored online. So, and we talked about Biden's crime family and all this stuff that they say you can't talk about. But that's because we're not doing it so that their bullshit picks up on it. I don't know. It's just, I thought this was a good way to go, where we could have a conversation without the YouTube dickholes deciding that you can't say that, you can't say that, Which has always been what Mox News, one of the things that Mox News has been about was that, I haven't had this slant like other people have where, they preach to the left or they preach to the right, I've always just been, this is Americans, I don't see left, right, I don't see black, white, I see Americans, and we need to get the job done for all of them. And if you're somehow divided, it's because you're looking to be. I don't like what this person is doing. I don't like, they're Americans. They have the right to live their lives. They have the right to demand their government hear their voices. At least they did at one time. And the only way that we're going to continue to have that right is if you stand up to demand that your government hear your voices. Because otherwise they're going to quickly try and take that right away. You all can see that coming, I'm sure. I'm probably not telling you anything, but it's just stuff that's in my head. I thought you might want to hear it. All right, so we have, let's see, what other videos do we have here? Oh, okay, this one is real.
That Trump won the election. Among the suspect's possessions, this is real, a white privilege card. I want you to take a look at this. It's a fake white privilege credit card. Subtitle, Trump's everything. The card holder, scot-free, with 2 T's. Scot-free is actually spelled with 1 T, but, you know, 2 T's on that card. That one piece of evidence, an insight into the man's state of mind, that he can get away with anything because of his skin color. His lawyer saying this to CNN. This was a guy simply following the advice and the commentary of the President of the United States.
She's a bitch, right? She's a
There's
bitch.
no doubt
right?
that she's a bitch.
She's a bitch, right? She's
So,
a bitch,
let's
right?
see.
She's a bitch, right? She's a bitch, right?
There is my beautiful baby. Hi, boo. How's my beautiful baby? He decided to grace us with his presence. Let's see. I have another Kennedy clip also where she just, it's not the one where she's like, but where she bitch slaps Anthony Fauci right at the beginning of her show. I mean, she just like, boom, boom, boom. And so I'll play that clip for you in a little bit. I thought you guys might like to see that. And I have other clips here. I have a clip that said supposedly the Democrats in Congress are trying to get Newsmax canceled. I don't know if you guys have seen the show, the channel Newsmax, but I played a few clips off of there from time to time, and apparently members of Congress are trying to get Newsmax canceled. Because again, it's an alternate voice, and they love censorship. I can't stand these people who hate freedom of speech. I can't stand them. I don't know what's wrong with them. You know, freedom is what we're supposed to be fighting for. And the only way you can keep your freedom is if you fight for it, if you exercise it. And this government is chipping away to the point where you may not be able to exercise your freedom anymore. I mean, if you do that now, you're probably considered a criminal. But it's coming to the point where you just may not be able to do it. Otherwise, you get sent to the re-education camps for your chemical lobotomy. And then you won't mind taking the vaccine so much, will you? Let's see. I have Biden tax plan. Ooh, shooting sharks. We're shooting sharks. I got that one. Did I play the Kennedy versus thing? Let's see. What about, let's see. Oh, this one works for Don Lemon also.
Here's a suggestion. Just don't be a-holes. Here's a suggestion. Just don't be a-holes. Here's a suggestion.
But,
just don't be a-holes.
Good luck with
Here's
that.
A suggestion.
Right? It's just a suggestion, Dawn. You know, your co-workers, they're like, don't be an a-hole. Probably a good idea, but, you know, just a suggestion. I will be using both of those clips in my gardening videos. You can count on it. And I was mentioning earlier that I have a clip of Michelle Obama saying, we're here to start a garden. And I love that clip. I will definitely be using that one. So, I don't know. I guess I should play another video for you. I can only be entertaining for like so many minutes in a row. And then I have to try and do something else, I guess. So, which video is it that you'd like to see? I guess we'll play a video about the hearing today about the riots in Washington. The insurrection, the domestic terrorist insurrection in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. I figured you guys should hear about that. There was a hearing today, and you know, you can't, you're not allowed to talk to politicians. If you do, you will be shot on sight.
No civilian law enforcement agency, to include the United States Capitol Police, is trained or equipped to repel an insurrection of thousands of individuals focused on breaching a building at all costs.
The former Capitol Police chief says his staff was severely unprepared for January's deadly siege on the U.S. Capitol. Then Chief Steve Sund was one of several security officials testifying before Congress today during the first hearing on that attack. And it is the first time that key players are publicly explaining what exactly went wrong in the days and weeks leading up to January 6th.
So many questions. News Nation correspondent Joe Khalil live for us in Washington, D.C. tonight with more on this story. Joe.
Yeah, Rob, what we saw today was the beginning of what's going to be a series of hearings here on Capitol Hill focused on the January 6th attack in a number of different ways. But today, it was really fundamental. They were asking questions, trying to get to the heart of how this happened, how the security infrastructure here was able to drop the ball in such a significant way, and really how Capitol Police and everybody involved was so caught off guard by what happened that day. Lapses in intelligence, preparedness, and confusion about chain of command. All contributed to the Capitol being overrun on January 6th.
Do you swear that the testimony you will give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. According to those tasked with keeping the building and those in it safe.
But none of the intelligence we received predicted what actually occurred.
Now former U.S. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund says an FBI intelligence memo warning about potential extremist violence days before the attack never made it to his desk.
So you hadn't seen it yourself?
No, ma'am. It did not go any further than that.
How can that happen? How can you not get that vital intelligence on the eve of what's going to be a major event?
Chief Sund testified alongside former House and Senate Sergeants at Arms Paul Irving and Michael Stenger, all of whom resigned after January 6th, and acting D.C. Metro Police Chief Robert Conti, who said Sund made desperate calls for backup from the National Guard, which were, in effect, ignored.
Chief Sund was pleading for the deployment of the National Guard. I was just stunned that I have officers that were out there literally fighting for their lives.
Chief Sund and Sergeant Irving each shared contradictory versions of who put in a request for the National Guard and when.
What we have here is a failure to communicate. I'm not one who's crazy about pointing fingers and assigning blame, but to whom do we assign that failure to communicate?
Republican Senator Josh Hawley asked Irving about reports that he was concerned about the optics of National Guard troops outside the Capitol.
What's the appearance that you were concerned about, Mr. Irving?
Senator, I was not concerned about appearance whatsoever. It was all about safety and security.
Irving insists the security plan for January 6th was appropriate based on the intelligence his agency had.
With that, this hearing is officially adjourned.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill will continue to hold hearings and likely form a 9/11-style commission investigation to learn more about how this was allowed to happen. And as we mentioned, today was the first in a series of hearings focused on January 6th. In fact, tomorrow on the House side, there's another hearing that's dedicated entirely to the mental health and the mental wellness of people who were in the building during that attack. It's something that you don't see a lot at home, but being here, you certainly see it has had an impact on everyone from lawmakers to staffers to Capitol Police. So that's something that we often come across here on Capitol Hill. Reporting live tonight in Washington, D.C., Joe Khalil, News Nation.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, let's see. I have another video, again, about Kennedy bitch slapping Anthony Fauci. I will play that for you momentarily. I have a video about Biden's new tax plan. We played the one about Biden's gun control plan, and I have another video about apparently liberal members of Congress want to cancel Newsmax. They want to get rid of the channel Newsmax. Again, I played videos here and there off of the Newsmax. It claims to be conservative, but that's like saying Sean Hannity is conservative or Rush Limbaugh is conservative. They're not conservative. They party like a crazy people. Hello, caller.
Hey, Max, how's it going?
Okay, how about you?
It's going all right. You know, a little tired, you know, already exhausted. It's only Tuesday, but, you know, I'm hanging in there. You know, it's been a while since I called. There's a lot of topics going on. You know, I haven't watched every show you've done. Did you cover the, what was it?
No, I'm sorry, we're not. I didn't do Tiger Woods. I didn't get any of those clips. Sorry. What was that?
I don't give a shit about Tiger Woods, dude. Nobody gives a shit about Tiger Woods. Like,
all the news channels apparently do.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know, I don't wish injury on people, but I just don't care. But it's like what's the dude that was the basketball guy that fucking died in the fucking helicopter, his private helicopter, you know?
That was LeBron, wasn't it?
What a fucking tragedy, right? You know, fucking, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a goddamn private helicopter, you die in a private helicopter crash, you know, I mean, fuck it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But, like, did you cover the news story where, I guess it's probably a week old now, I'm guessing, where it was the police officer, remember, like within, like, a day of the insurrection, like, a police officer died?
Yeah.
And, you know, they said it was like, you know, he was killed by like a fucking fire extinguisher. And then later on, it turned out it was all fake, and they knew it was fake on the same fucking day they reported it.
Yeah, that he wasn't killed by but he died though, right? I mean, that part wasn't
Yeah,
fake.
he had like a fucking stroke. He was an old man, you know? And like fucking, they were like, oh, the fucking insurrectionists are murdering police. That was like their main propaganda push.
Yeah.
You know, I saw a thing like, a few days ago where they're like, oh, and another officer died. He was like the 6th or fucking 16th fucking death or whatever, this damn thing. And they said he died from fucking pepper spray.
Ah.
You know, dude, I was like, I don't know. I've seen dudes eat pepper spray. I don't know how you're fucking dying from this shit. You know?
Well,
I guess there's different kinds of pepper sprays.
if you have like a lung condition and you breathe that shit in, you could definitely die. But I think, you know, who sprayed the pepper spray, right? I mean, it wasn't like the police weren't spraying ton fucks of pepper spray.
They probably sprayed them. They probably sprayed themselves, you know, spraying into the wind.
If you spray into the wind, I mean, look, you know, it's just beyond ridiculous the way that they're acting about these people on January 6th. You know, those people, again, you can see them and they want to call them, you know, they say, oh, they came there prepared for war and they're insurrectionists and they're terrorists, you know, but you see them standing there inside the Capitol building and they're just like, wow, look at this place. It's fucking awesome. They're not fucking terrorists or doing war, you know?
Dude, they fucking sat in Nancy Pelosi's chair and took selfies of mass destruction. Okay? This is serious shit, bro. Serious shit.
Yeah.
You know, we gotta, like, strip away all our liberties and freedoms to avoid that shit. You know? I mean, it's crazy.
So that no one can ever get that close to the politicians again. That's what's important.
Yeah, you know.
We gotta protect them.
They're milking the shit out of that. You just played a fucking clip on that, dude. Hey, remember when they used to talk about a fucking stimulus check, dude? We're never getting that shit. You know, dude, we were like, because they're probably like deathly afraid we'll buy game stonks.
Well,
you know,
the problem is that they need to hammer out the details of how many millions of dollars Kanye West needs to get. So once they get that all figured out, then they can move forward.
Sometimes they haven't canceled Kanye West yet, you know? You know, he supported Trump, you know? Like, I'm surprised he hasn't fucking, you know, committed suicide or something like that, you know? Like, can't have people of color giving out that wrong think, you know? Dude, that's the worst kind of fucking wrong think. Yeah, I mean, like, there's just so much fucked up shit. Like, literally, like, just this a few minutes before I called, I saw this thing, dude, in Canada. Justin Trudeau made a tweet post, little government message, where, like, if you're coming from outside of Canada and you go in, they're going to fucking quarantine you until your fucking tests come back. All right, and like you're going to have to pay for your own hotel or whatever at your own expense. And if it comes back negative, they said, and I quote, "You will be detained in government facilities, like some sort of coof prison." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, that's like breaking news. And I'm like, "What the fuck am I reading, dude? Shit's so fucking wild, dude." Every time I see it, like the shit that happened in Texas, with the fucking energy blackouts, and, everything I see Biden doing is just like fucking, he killed the damn pipeline. Like, I guess sending gas by train is fucking more environmentally friendly. He fucking, undid like the executive orders from Trump, further securing energy in our grid. And to top it off, like, you remember the Bundy Ranch, dude, where it was really psychotic, and we had the feds, like, fucking sniping.
Wait, the Bundys were not psychotic.
No. The fucking government response was psychotic, dude.
Yeah.
You see these pictures of these U.S. agents with sniper rifles and scopes aiming at these dudes because they had cows eating grass?
Right.
Well, apparently that fucking grass they ate, or particularly the land they ate, was turned into solar panels that are owned by fucking China.
Yeah.
So they had to get these fucking cows off so the Chinese could fucking somehow, like, be a part of our energy grid, which is just fucked up, And,
well, China,
shit.
I'm telling you, they're selling pretty much the whole country to China right now. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And China is no threat to us, except for that our fucking government is selling the entire fucking country to China. So that's the only real threat. Again, our government. Not China, our government.
Yeah, I mean, like, we shouldn't be selling, like, like the energy infrastructure or fucking farmland or anything to any foreign governments. China, I don't even care if it's fucking Mexico. They shouldn't have our farmlands. They shouldn't have our energy infrastructure.
Right. Well, they're taking control of lots of the infrastructure. I understand that they're buying as many ports on both the east and west coast as they can get their hands on. So, all the shipping. They want to control all the shipping and everything. I don't know how the fucking idiots in Congress can be allowing this stuff to happen. But again, it's because they don't give a fuck about the people, and all they're doing is selling out, as quickly as possible. They're selling out our freedom. They're selling out our rights. They're selling out our Constitution. They're selling out our entire government, country, right out from underneath us, just as quickly as they can to the top bidders.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, when, like, I keep reading shit like Bill Gates is buying everything, too. And that's the one scary motherfucker right there. Like, Bill Gates, like, I just saw him come out against cryptocurrency.
Uh-huh.
And then Janet Yellen is fucking, also made, like, a thing about, like, Bitcoin being bad for the environment.
I told you guys 2 weeks ago, this is what we're gonna talk. We're gonna hear about. We're gonna hear Bitcoin is bad for the environment. I told you guys.
Well, I'm also seeing a bunch of shills on the internet also push that shit, dude. There's a lot of paid shills.
It's not Bitcoin that's bad for the environment. It's our bullshit infrastructure that's not set up to give us free fucking energy. Because there's tons of free energy, tons of technology, which we could be moving towards, and instead, we're just gonna fucking, for another 100 years, suck every bit of fucking, garbage poison out of the earth that we can. Whether it's fucking fracking or just regular old crude oil. and just destroy the planet as much as possible. Make it as toxic and poisonous as much as possible. When we could be all getting free energy like it's supposed to be.
But, you know, I mean, like, they're like, coordinating their message. Like there are shows online. You'll see show movements online, like a bunch of people all of a sudden posting the same thing. And they're doing this like with the Bitcoin. I'm seeing a lot of this, like, it's going to kill the earth. Bitcoin. It's like, dude, there's nothing you can buy anywhere that doesn't use energy to somehow, for that transaction.
Yeah, like Amazon's not using 100,000 times much more energy than Bitcoin.
Well, yeah. They say Google searches alone are just ridiculous. Just the amount of energy they're consuming. Dude, those AIs that are censoring you, dude, they're destroying the earth. They're destroying the earth running that AI.
Again, it's not that. It's our infrastructure, our 18th, 19th century infrastructure. Instead of having a 21st, 22nd century infrastructure, we have this ancient garbage. And we're going to die because of it. We're going to poison the entire fucking earth, and we're going to die because of it. Because we can't just recognize that we need to move into the 21st century like we're the richest planet on the face of richest country on the face of the earth, and we can make happen what we need to be happen. And instead of giving millions of dollars away to Kanye West for fucking security, goddamn piece of shit billionaire. We got to give him millions of dollars of tax money. What?
I'm out of the loop on the Kanye West thing. Can you give me a quick rundown?
I just played a video of what's hidden inside the government relief bill, and apparently Kanye West is going to get millions of dollars to bolster his security because of because of COVID-19.
How the fuck did he do that, man? That's pretty wild. Somebody write that as a joke?
He's a fucking billionaire. He's worth $1.3 billion. It's like fucking Tiger Woods driving himself around. The guy is worth $1 billion, and he's not smart enough to have a fucking driver. Give me a break.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the fuck was up with that. That Kanye shit was new. At least to me,
I played it earlier.
I'm surprised some government official even wrote that.
It's for celebrities because somehow celebrities are, I don't know what the fuck, under some kind of extra security threat at this time. So they need millions and millions of dollars going to celebrities. Kanye West was just an example.
Dude, I saw they already deleted the video. Just talking about kind of celebrities and kind of going back to Bill Gates. Microsoft had had a YouTube ad video unveiling of their new augmented reality little glasses, tech or whatever the fuck it was. Augmented reality isn't virtual reality because the virtual reality you can't see shit. Not the real world anyway. But these are glasses and they overlay shit. It's augmented reality. And they had the chick, the fucking Satanist chick that was the fucking spirit cooking and the fucking WikiLeaks Podesta emails. The one that was, where they had fucking, she was cut your finger with a knife, eat the pain. And then they had pictures of Podesta holding up his hands that they're all scarred up from all these cuts he has. And pictures of fucking all these celebrities and, fucking all these people with this fucking spirit cooking, it's the religious cult of these Epstein people, which is, but anyway, they have her starring in the ad for their new tech, their augmented reality tech, and they they just slap people in the face. It's like, yo, that's that Satan chick that's in all the pedophile emails, and I'm like, what the fuck? And everybody was everybody immediately fucking started trashing it. So the first thing they did was they banned comments.
Yeah.
And then they banned the dislike, and then they just deleted the whole fucking thing. But they just did that shit just to slap people in the face. It's like, oh, hey, I'm Bill Gates of Microsoft. Here's the satanic pedophile lady. I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Just to slap in the face. And they did that on purpose. It wasn't oopsie. You know?
Yeah.
like, oh, how did she get in our fucking ads? You know?
Yeah, they're very smart people. They don't do things on accident.
Like I heard, before they fucking did the fucking 30,000 National Guard troops in fucking Washington, D.C., they were going to have Tom Hanks, do like the hosting of or whatever for Biden's inauguration, dude. That was another slap in the face, dude. That's the dude that's been in fucking the main Hollywood dude since the early 80s, since like Big, and even before that. Oh yeah, dude, lots of people were saying he's a fucking kid fucker.
All right, that's enough. This is why I don't like to investigate that kind of shit, because it becomes an obsession in your brain. Okay? And I don't want that shit going on in my brain. So I'm not going to investigate that shit. I don't want to talk about that shit. Okay? I don't know what's going on with Podesta. Okay? Anybody can write a fucking email and put somebody's name to it. I don't know what's going on. Okay? Personally. With any of the fucking celebrities. I don't know what's going on. Okay? I don't want to call them some fucking name. Okay? So, you know what? Go ahead and be obsessed with that shit, but don't bring it to me. Because I don't want it in my head. I've told you guys again and again and again, I don't go down that rabbit hole. Because it leads to dark places, and it's really difficult to get out of it. Okay? Not interested. Keep it to yourself. Or find other people who are interested in talking about that. Because I'm not. Alright, let's play a video. Let's see. We'll play Kennedy. Let's play Kennedy video. Where's Kennedy?
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together.
Okay, so this is the video I was telling you about earlier, where Kennedy bitch slaps Anthony Fauci right at the beginning of her show. And I thought you guys would want to see that most likely, because I thought it was pretty good. She does that pretty good. She does that pretty well.
There's one thing we've learned about science over the last year. It's that a term like that can be bastardized and bent in any direction to benefit the user entirely, politically or otherwise. There has been no greater rhetorical contortionist than Dr. Anthony Fauci, who has become the solitary expert on coronavirus. Yet, he uses an objective term like science so subjectively, it's almost like he's making things up. Here's what Dr. Fauci said last March as he was following the science on masks.
People should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask.
Yeah, that's right. And then he had this massive shift just 3 weeks later.
Putting a mask on yourself is more to prevent you from infecting someone else. And if everybody does that, we're each protecting each other.
Now, in the strata of frustrations, masks are pretty low on the list, but Fauci has been all over the mask map with little regard to the emotional toll these requirements take on people long term. For many people, the mask is a straitjacket that's a constant reminder of the virus they're being lied to about. At least we have vaccines. With enough people inoculated, plus the number of those of us who've already contracted COVID, we're in good shape, right? I mean, mathematically.
You'll need about 70%, maybe 75% of the people in the country vaccinating to get that umbrella of herd immunity.
I say between 75 and 85% of the population. If we get that, we would develop an umbrella of immunity.
Wow, Fudgy the Whale using fuzzy math there, too. Fauci admitted to the New York Times he sort of adds a few percentage points here or there to the upper end of the ultimate immunity number if he feels enough people aren't going along with the science. He has admitted He's making stuff up. So why is he the guy in charge? It's clear this new administration is seeking to downplay our expectations by noping us into thinking we won't be maskless and normal for at least another year. Even the vaccinated among us are being told you can't go maskless, eat indoors, or enjoy life any differently than you did before. So with half the country still hesitant to get the jab, what the hell kind of piss-poor marketing is that? It really is the worst messaging ever for something that has been deemed utterly necessary for a return to normalcy. States like Florida, who have taken the gamble to mostly forego lockdowns, will have a competitive advantage. Their kids haven't missed school, sports, or socialization. Their businesses haven't had to lay off the last of their employees. When things do open, whatever that means, Florida will be shot out of a cannon. So what did Dr. Fauci do? He criticized Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for reopening schools when he should have been closely watching the Florida model, then advising other states to follow suit. In the end, it affects Dr. Fauci very little. He doesn't have to leave his 2 kids in a motel room while he works his shift at Little Caesars. And he doesn't have to beg bankers and bureaucrats for a loan to keep the tatters of his business in business. He gets to shift with his whims, enjoying an uninterrupted paycheck, chuckling all the way to the bank or the NBC studios, while hoodwinking desperate and skeptical Americans who are ready to tell him to shove his science in his brown Bunsen burner. And that's the memo. So, with a batting average like a pitcher, why are we expected to just take Dr. Fauci's word as gospel? Let's get into it with tonight's super smart panel. We've got Real Clear Politics co-founder and executive editor Tom Pevin is back. She's the correspondent for The Greg Gutfeld Show and host of Sincerely Kat on Fox Nation. It's Kat Timpf. And Democrat strategist, radio host, and Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall rounds out the panel. Welcome, everyone. I will start with you, Tom, because people have grown beyond frustrated. And now they're hearing from other doctors like Marty Makary. I interviewed him last night. He wrote a great op-ed in the Wall Street Journal saying, you know, given the depths of these new COVID numbers and how fast they're falling, how many people are being inoculated, and how many people who've actually contracted COVID without even knowing it, our return to normalcy could be as early as spring, this spring. So people hear stuff like that and they're like, why are we only listening to one guy when clearly there can be a difference of opinion on these important subjects?
Right. And look, there are a lot of components to this, right? Fauci is the preeminent expert. He's been in the government for a long time. He started working in the AIDS crisis, but the media sort of used him as this, you know, soothsayer, and everything that he said was to be taken as gospel, not to be questioned. There were to be no dissent, no other alternative theories. And even Fauci now, you know, this is a virus we'd never seen before. So he was kind of making it up as he goes along. But more importantly, he's a virologist. He's a bureaucrat. He is not an economist. He is not he's not a therapist. He doesn't understand a lot of the other aspects of this crisis. And so for those reasons, I think it was a mistake to just rely on him. And the media propped him up as the first and last word on the crisis, when in fact, even he now admits he was sort of making it up and fudging the numbers as he went along to you know, enhance the narrative that he wanted to present to the American people.
But we have to realize that a lot of this is ongoing. A lot of this is evolving. And because there are parts of it as lay people that we don't understand, it doesn't mean, Kat, that we just have to subscribe to one person's opinion as gospel, because a lot of it, especially in the beginning, it was opinion. It was looking at mysterious data and trying to make sense of it. But there were differences of opinion, and now those differences have greatly affected people's lives. And, you know, it's like, I look at this, why would you get the vaccine if you think it's not going to do you any good?
Yeah.
So, you know, where has the skepticism been?
I think a lot of people are just over it at this point. I mean, this is a huge ask. This has been about a year of our lives with no end in sight. And then he said, of course, on Monday, hey, just because you're vaccinated, you shouldn't go eat indoors. Just because you're vaccinated, you shouldn't go to a movie theater, because we need to protect, as he called it, the safety of society. But what bothers me about that is the implication that not doing those things protects the safety of society, because it doesn't, because then we're not a society at all. We haven't been a society. A society is a group of people that interact socially on a regular basis. It's not a bunch of people all locked away in their individual homes or their individual apartments. So you can't just be saying, oh, we need to keep society safe. We've lost society throughout the past year entirely. And that is something that matters to us as human beings, not just for our mental health, but for our physical health as well.
Yeah, and I think about some of these lockdowns, like I haven't seen my parents in 15 months. It's the longest I've ever gone without seeing my mom. And, you know, it's like, I can't wait to get back home and see my family, Leslie. And, you know, you look at the numbers from California, and they're the same as the numbers in California and Texas. In Florida and Texas. And that means, I don't know if your kids are in school. I hope they are. Kids in LAUSD are not. Kids in middle school and high school in New York City, they still are not. They'll be lucky if they go 1 day a week before September. Your thoughts?
Kat, you know, I love you, but, you know, when we talk about we're over it, I'm sorry. You know, you guys know I'm married to a physician, and I hear from the healthcare side of things. And they're tired of, they're over it. They're over not having enough body bags. They're over not having enough beds in the ICU.
Every single
they're
rule.
over having to,
I have followed every rule the entire time.
That is such propaganda.
There's also a mental health crisis. There's an economic crisis. I completely understand the seriousness of the health aspect of this, which is why I followed every single rule the entire time.
Everyone does.
But I am not saying that that's the only thing to think about, because these other things are serious too, and they also have physical health implications, incling early death.
Yes, and the seniors and the students are the ones who should have been taken care of. Sorry, Leslie, go ahead.
I think that being a parent of 2 children, and to answer your question, grades 3 through 6 will go back mid-March. K through 2 are already back, depending on where, because when San Diego opened up full throttle, 4 days later, 100 kids had to be quarantined because they had come into contact with somebody else. We don't know if it's a child or an adult that had COVID. The list goes on. The bottom line is, look, no, Fauci isn't the end-all and be-all, but the problem with COVID for medical scientists, everyone who's giving us information, CDC, NIH, Fauci, my husband, everybody out there.
Not everybody. Do not say
They're
everybody, because all it takes is one differing opinion from the former head of the CDC.
There are many differing opinions.
Yes, exactly.
There are many differing opinions.
That doesn't include everybody when you say that.
Kennedy,
Please
don't differ, but
you are employing a universal that is false.
They do not differ on things like how it is transmitted, which is from droplets within our nose and our mouth, and the belief that the mask, when over your face, can prevent those droplets from getting to someone else
you know what?
that may not be as healthy as you.
Droplets know nothing of lockdowns. And therefore, when you have a lockdown in one state and no lockdown in the other state, and the numbers are the same, that means that the lockdowns in the name of safety are not working. And that's why people are pissed, and rightly so, because they have been lied to in order for government to stay in control. The panel returns a little bit later. But
I like that girl. She does air quotes almost as much as I do. She, that woman at the end, she's all, I know people that are medical professionals, so you should listen to what I'm telling you. We all know people that are medical professionals. You know, and a lot of the medical professionals are like, yeah, don't get the vaccine, in case you don't know that. Not that I'm a medical professional or that I'm giving medical advice. I'm just saying what some of the medical professionals I know have said. Hello, caller.
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
All right, how about you?
I'm doing good, man. This is your boy DJ L7 from New York City. Kind of new to the show. I'm checking out your channel page over here. You got your 90s music down here. That's cool. I see you're a fellow Tulsi supporter. That's probably how I end up linking up with you. See you doing the weed. I smoke a lot of weed on stream all the time. I don't care if I don't get monetized. And also the Fauci stuff you got on the screen. You know, honestly, I'm with you, Fauci, to just get smacked, man. These people, these middle-class assholes that think that, you know, they're above us and that we need to be managed and lied to, yo, it's disrespectful, you know. And the moment he lied the first time, right? First time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
I'm lying.
Yeah, you know, the reason I hate being lied to is because it always feels like the person that's lying to me thinks I'm not smart enough to know they're lying. Like they think I'm stupid. You know what the fuck,
That's
man?
exactly. Actually, Fauci literally said that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, you stupid saying that. You know what I mean? Come on, man. You trying? How dumb are you to like try to convince the American public to follow you? I mean, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
just
these
that's
doctors, they, yeah.
this. It's like that's what their job is to convince us. You know, you know what? No, I'm the authority. You need to listen to what I'm saying and act accordingly. You know, like we can't figure these kind of things out on our own.
You know, I've actually worked in the medical industry, and I've also been I've been in medical school. You know, I was actually gotten rid of, but I know a lot of ways the medical industry is really messed up, and there's so much hypocrisy in it. You know, for example, right? Let me say this, yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is that sometimes you'll see a doctor, right, and he'll complain, right, because he is rich, right? He'll complain about the poor people ripping off Medicaid and stuff like that. Which, you look, I've been a poor person, I've seen it happen. Yes, it's true. You get what I mean? People might jack off, like, you know, a bunch of medications, whatever, right? Yeah. But the doctor, right? Yeah. While that person might get like $100, $200 out of this visit, you know what I mean? The doctor be making thousands off of testing, cycling, unnecessary, just the visit itself. Yeah. They clock in maybe 2,000 out of the system in maybe like 15 minutes. You know, so the amount, right, where one party's taking like a couple hundred, the other one taking like a couple G's. You know what I mean? The doctor's the worst one.
Yeah, I get the impression I just been having to go to the doctor just recently, and I get the impression they want you to do a lot of unnecessary things.
Well, depends on depends on also some of the things on which you are, right? Because let's take a look at the way the experience has really changed. Let me guess, a nurse takes your vitals, then the doctor comes in like just with maybe even a clip and says, "Oh no, you got this." They even talk back. Yeah, this is your diagnosis, and you got to, and they run out the door. Is that what happens? Because that's the norm.
Actually, my doctors generally take they're pretty calm, and they take a considerable amount of time with me. The neurologist spends almost an hour talking to me almost every time. Yeah.
Yo, that's great.
I thought so. I thought so too.
Yeah. Because you know the industry is really pressuring them not to to really see more patients an hour.
Yeah.
Like they get bonuses. There's like. So you really found a good one, I guess. For them to spend the whole hour to you, that is.
It's all. I've been to see him twice, and both times he spent nearly an hour talking with me.
The doctor himself. That's amazing. Yeah. That's a good sign, bro. So you found a good one, man. So,
I don't know if they're good. I mean, he keeps trying to get me to take a COVID vaccine and shit, you know, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, and other shit. But he, like I said, he spends time. He talks to me. Anything that I'm concerned about, he makes sure that, it's not like I ever feel like he's in a hurry with me at all.
I think one of the reasons why half the medical professionals don't want to take the vaccine, you're looking and you're like, why? I can tell you some of the things that are messed up in the industry. For example, right? Some medications go turn into generics. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But the thing is that some of them don't. You know what I mean? And if they start to lose their patent on it, what happens is they'll just make that medication unavailable. They will change the molecule, add a carbon, take away a carbon, maybe like switch like a hydrogen or something else, magnesium or something,
Right.
And then they'll just resell it, you know what I mean? And it's so ridiculous, man. So the thing is that I sit in the doctor's office with patients after patient, you know what I mean? And then the patient comes in and says, "What about that old medication? It used to work better. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't get it for you." And everybody, you know what I mean? The patient doesn't know, but the professionals in the room know exactly what's up and why it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have a real problem with for-profit medicine. I find, and the problem is that they have alternative motives. You know what I mean? It's for-profit.
Absolutely.
So that shouldn't be what healthcare is about.
Contest game.
Yeah.
I was literally in Grenada, and the medical officer of the country said, "Oh, sometimes your friend has a car and you want to get that car too. You know, I think she was trying to pull me into something. Nah, fuck you. You know what I mean? I'm doing good for that. You know what I mean? I'm here to fucking really make a difference. You know?
They have like a very popular medical school there that a lot of people from America go to, don't they?
Well, I was there, and actually I was attacked. That's on my Twitter posting and the green. But I'm about to take them on. I'm actually mailing every resident in the country with evidence of the. I'd be glad to mail you a copy, but I can show you the. But that's not really why I came here. You know, what I mean, it's just on the side. You know what I mean, I'm so excited to meet another Tulsa supporter too. Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm taking on that fight now. I'm also like protesting Yang in New York City because actually I worked for his campaign, but I found he's completely in bed with the establishment, bro. You know what I mean? In ways that most people do not recognize.
I question all these people. I want so much to love Tulsi, but I'm at this point where I feel like I can't trust any of them, you know?
She's been a little quiet, right? The activism was
Yeah.
going on, but before she's kind of like been quiet and come back.
Yeah.
Also, look, she kind of deserves a break. She got treated real rough, you know what I mean? And
I think they probably beat up on her pretty bad so far.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when she went to Syria and stuff, I don't know if I've ever been more proud of a member of Congress, you know?
I feel you, man. I feel you.
Yeah, because
I fought those tough fights too, so.
Yeah, because she, you know, she said she invited every single member of Congress to go with her, and everyone refused, and they said, "Don't do this." And you know,
I'm in that position often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrible. So I have a lot of respect for her. I just don't know if I can trust any of them anymore, though.
Yeah, man. Yo, and the thing is that a lot of times when the left supposedly get what it wants, it gets twisted in a horrible way. Like marijuana legalization, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like in order to like apply for a license, like, you know, to grow, like you gotta pay like what, like $30,000 just for the application, and then you could get rejected. They really set it up so only the big players can really get in the game. You know what I mean?
I think they're going to do a little bit of changing with that, but yes, I do know what you mean. It's become very difficult to get to be part of the so-called green rush.
Yeah, that's really ridiculous. And the idea is it's just a natural plant; anybody can grow that shit. But
yeah, I mean this
right to one person.
This state has had legal weed now for 7 years, right? And they won't let people grow here unless you have a medical recommendation. You can't grow weed here.
You better buy. You better buy through us, or fuck you. That's their fucking. Oh my god.
It's so stupid.
It's illegal to grow a plant that's legal to use.
And it's illegal to grow flowers, man. Every year they say, Olympia is talking about letting, you know, people in Washington grow marijuana in their homes, you know, and then every year it's like, oh, we're too busy, we can't get to that bill.
So annoying, anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. What other is there any way that I can help you out in New York? If maybe we can coordinate something. Are you down with the Assange stuff?
Down with what now?
Assange.
Oh yeah, I'm very I think probably the biggest lost opportunity that Trump had was pardoning Julian Assange.
So on you ever heard of something called Slow News Day or Action for Assange? There's a bunch of other YouTubers that I work with to like push together certain policies. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
If there's something that you're working on, I'd love to get on board. Maybe tell my audience, not that I have much of one, you know what I mean, but or put in real street work, or you know, see who I know in the area.
My focus is trying to help people see the common enemy, you know, because it's not Iran, it's not Russia, it's not China, you know, it's the people in Washington D.C. and their ever-growing police state. So.
Can I tell you about an interesting project I have running? Okay, so every Saturday at 3 p.m., I actually gather people from different parties, the Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party, yeah, and we actually say what we can agree on. And we usually try to agree on two things, and then we move on to other things, like we open the floor to people to make suggestions. The first thing we try to get is a universal support for Assange. The second thing we say is we agree that the leaders of this country are not addressing the issues of the 99%.
Yeah.
And if the leadership, right, and we can come together and agree on things, and the leadership does not, we will rise together as a base and come together anyways. They could say whatever they want, like split up, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We'll come together as a base and we'll get the shit done without them.
I think that's what has to happen, because the people in Washington D.C. They don't seem to represent a single member of the working class, and they call themselves representatives and public servants and stuff. It's just beyond hypocrisy. It's disgusting. Makes me want to vomit till I die, thinking if those guys actually believe in their head that they're doing the people's business and being public servants when they're passing things like the Patriot Act and the never-ending wars and this thing where we can spy on all Americans. There's no Fourth Amendment anymore. Disgusting.
I'm not trying to be a leader in the movement, just so you know. Yeah. Actually, I feel like because people sometimes they feel like, oh, this guy's trying to be or whatever. I don't want to be that. Actually, I think what would be interesting is I want to start maybe farming. I've already, if you watch the video, I tell people, you do your own. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would be glad for you to host one, or maybe I'll try to suggest like someone else in the group, like do the event this time. Because I don't want it to be about me. I want this to catch on and spread across the community where everybody can just see how easy it's just to get together with the Democrat and Republican and Libertarian and agree on shit and just say this is stupid. We should stop fighting.
That's what I keep saying is that, I think we don't even have to move beyond our divisions, It's just we have to find this common ground. We just have to find this.
Can you be a guest or host the event? The multi-party thing.
Yeah, if you want to call back to Craig and talk to him about, he's the producer and he understands all the technical stuff. So that way he would know what's involved and he could explain it to me and we could figure out where to go from there.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet you, man. Yeah.
Right on. It's good to meet you too. What's your YouTube page?
DJL7. Yeah.
Excellent.
YouTube.com/DJL7.
Excellent.
I would say, even though I don't have many subscribers, in terms of like making things happen on the ground, I'm involved in a lot of interesting things. I actually was the New York coordinator for MPP.
Yeah.
Then I was the first person to call out MPP's democratic leadership. And now our revolution is following suit. And now there's a disco with hundreds of people. So I led in that particular category. I had a protest at New York Times and also protest at Good Morning America on behalf of Tulsi and the unfair way she was treated. So I'm really activist person. And
right on. It sounds like it. It sounds like you have a big heart. What L7 is that from the band L7 or?
Well, okay, so ELF, right, could stand for a lot of different things. I think one of the things it's kind of maybe. Yikes. Okay, so the thing is that like when I was a kid growing up, right, there was elves. I always felt like we were outsiders. You know what I mean? Like never really truly accepted as humans because of the racial identity. Also, there's Earth Liberation Front. You know what I mean? I always liked the environment, and I don't know if you've heard of like Harlem Dipset, but they call themselves Harlem Al Qaeda, stuff like that. Like in hip hop, like we try to say we're the baddest, we're the toughest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was I was the turntable terrorist, and that was right after. We didn't care. It was after 9/11, but that's hip hop style.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Just like don't tell me what to do. I can say
exactly.
No, I saw L7 here in Seattle. It was really good. It's a great band. If you ever get a chance to check them out.
Oh, I'm different. I didn't know about them, but I'm gonna look into them. Yeah, I'm completely different. I didn't know there was L7 bands.
Yeah.
I've been around for a long time, but they're probably bigger than me.
It's an all female band. They're pretty much punk rock.
I don't wait from the 90s. Yeah, L7, not L7, L7. Yeah.
L7, yeah.
That too, yeah.
Oh yeah, L7.
Yeah, I do not. Yeah, it's not Elf. Yeah.
Elf. Okay, I didn't realize it was Elf. Okay.
No, I'm L7. Yeah.
Right on.
People in the forest, like we're like subhuman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're often treated as subhuman.
Cool.
Yeah, and I represent the little people and the people who
awesome.
are downtrodden.
Awesome.
And stepped on,
Yeah.
And unheard. So.
That's great, dude. Keep up the great work, man.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I'm really looking forward to Saturday, bro. I mean, we can show our leaders what's up. Like it's how easy it is to just agree on shit.
Yeah, I agree. That's a big part of what I do is to try and bring people together.
Where are you from? California?
I live in Seattle now.
Oh, my boy Larry from Seattle, right? I'm actually thinking about visiting the West Coast If you ever want to once again come out here to New York, you definitely guess. You know what I mean?
Not until they legalize weed. I don't go to states that don't have legalized weed.
It's basically legal here, bro. It's basically
Yeah,
legal.
it's basically legal everywhere, but you know, you get. I'm not going somewhere they don't have. It's kind of
Don't
like
worry, I might come out to Seattle.
it's kind of this thing where I don't. You know what? You get your shit together and then I'll come visit. You know what I mean? It's like I don't want to go. You're gonna keep, because the people in New York have voted again and again to legalize marijuana, right?
I mean, it's legal in Jersey. It basically is legal over here. Yeah, I think they stopped prosecuting. I think they stopped the arrest on it.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's, you know, there's a difference between stop prosecuting and actually being legal, you know.
Yo, I hear Seattle's crazy. I hear like people like just be like, you know, a lot of crime and stuff, and people be drugged out and stuff. How's Seattle doing right now?
Seattle's a beautiful place, man. Seattle's a beautiful, beautiful place with lots of very, very cool people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, my dude. So let me think. Anything else? What about locally? You got anything going locally? You into like local races and stuff?
Not right now. I'm not overly productive at the moment. I'm trying to get a garden started. I want to start growing cannabis on the YouTube, and I'm trying to get that all hammered out so that it becomes more part of the freedom network of the show. You know.
Cool, man. You're gonna do outdoor and indoor?
I'm gonna do an outdoor. I'm allowed to grow 15 plants because I'm a medical patient. So I'm gonna do outdoor in the summer and then indoor, you know, after that.
Have you ever grown before?
A little bit. I'm gonna call this first next grow season 5. But for me, but I haven't actually grown. I've grown flowers where I smoked all of them, but I haven't grown like those really super frosty flowers, you know. And I just want to grow some just sparkly shit, man, you know.
Yo, I just got some like $60 for an eighth weed. Yeah, it was by fucking something called Blue Tommies.
Nice.
The Backpack Boys. You know about that?
No, I don't know that one.
Yeah, like okay, so it comes pretty. It's like the higher end weed, but honestly, I feel like it's a little expensive. I'm not gonna get this all the time, but when a friend comes over, you know what I mean, that's who I'm getting down with. So
yeah, well, I partially I like, you know, you can go to the weed store here, and it's like.
What's your favorite like, you know, types of weed? Like Runts for me has been like I've been a big fan of Runts. I like this shit called Trainwreck. You ever had Trainwreck?
Yeah, Trainwreck's great. I have one of the strains I'll probably grow this summer is grape snow train, which is a Trainwreck cross.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, man. That's fucking awesome, bro. What else are you growing?
I have this strain called Russian Doll that I'm gonna grow, and I have a lemon haze that I'm gonna grow, and wait.
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
I see you kind of like back from my era, the 90s. So we came up with Arizona, we came up with White Widow, you know, blueberry, purple haze, stuff like that, right? Where are these strains? I don't see them anymore. I've been asking where that White Widow at. You know what I mean?
Oh, there's White Widow. White Widow is one of the favorites to cross for people. Like almost, I wouldn't say half, but there's just a ton of White Widow cross hybrids these days.
What about just a pure White Widow? Like,
you can get that. I mean, but you see, for me, like I was saying, was when I go to the store, there's 100 different choices, you know. But almost no matter what I get, I don't like it near as much as the weed that I grow myself, and the weed the weed that I grow myself. Like I said, so far, you know, I'm on season 5, and I don't even feel like I've had a really successful grow yet. So once I get good at this shit, I'm just gonna put everything at the store to shame. So.
You ever get banged by the spider mites?
No, I haven't had a spider mite problem. I think Craig had a spider mite problem for a minute on one of his grows. Yeah.
How do you take care of that shit?
I don't know. I would have to look at it. You know, it's all over the YouTube. But I like I said, talk to Craig and he can tell you what he did. I'm sure.
And like all the fucking shit that you know, like because my boy had his spot. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And all the shit we tried didn't work except for the fucking the insects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we tried the sprays and shit. Like some of them shit was expensive. But,
Oh yeah.
That shit really was just really a lot of money spent for no. You might as well just use soap water. Like,
Well, they have you know the Have you ever heard of Dr. Bronner's soap? It's comes in peppermint and all these different kind of scents.
Yeah, I think I heard about it. Yeah,
it's usually in a oil form, so it's but it says Dr. Bronner's Hemp Oil Soap, right? It's made 100% of hemp, and it was actually designed. The reason they call it hemp oil soap was it was designed as a pesticide for hemp back in the day when the farmers used to be able to pay their taxes with hemp, and it was grown everywhere. They would use this. They would spray it on the leaves, and it would wash off all the bugs.
For some reason, though, like I tried it. Like maybe I should do it some more. Like now that, but now that I'm using. Oh shit! Shut the fuck up. Okay, this is last. Okay, let's change that right the fuck down.
All right.
All right. Anyways, what's up, man? So, yo, man, let me know when it's up, man. I'm down to taste.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's good to hear from you. Keep up the great work.
Thanks a lot, man. Saturday, let's link up. Yeah. Oh, can you transfer me back to the producer?
I know, but you can call back and he'll pick it up. But I can't promise Saturday. But like I said, you give Craig the details, and then we'll make a date.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Talk to you soon, I hope.
All right, peace.
See ya. Okay. Do you have another caller? Okay, I am going to play a video for you about the Biden tax plan. Because you should probably know about that too. We can't leave any of this stuff out. I mean, except for Tiger Woods. Who gives a fuck?
Now on the campaign trail, then candidate Joe Biden had a very specific plan for changing the tax rates in the U.S. Now Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is sharing the first indication of how the president is looking to put those ideas into motion. James Rosen has the story.
I know later this year you're going to be announcing a tax plan.
In an interview with the New York Times on Monday, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen disclosed a number of changes President Biden is considering making to the U.S. tax code.
He's going to be looking at closing loopholes, probably raise the corporate tax rate, not as high as it was before 2017, but probably up to 28% to try to get rid of subsidies for fossil fuels.
So does that mean you don't think we'll see a wealth tax?
Well, a wealth tax has been discussed, but it's not something that President Biden has come out in favor of.
Make the corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%.
As a candidate, former Vice President Biden promised to raise the corporate tax rate to the very level Secretary Yellen specified. He also campaigned on a pledge to eliminate fossil fuel subsidies, as Yellen mentioned. But whether the chief executive would seek a wealth tax may depend on your definition of wealth.
If you make less than $400,000, you're not going to get a penny tax, and you're going to get a tax cut if you make under $125,000.
Secretary Yellen also signaled a possible hike in taxes on capital gains, the profits realized on sales of real estate, investments, or personal property. The Trump tax cut of 2017 left the top taxation rate on capital gains at 20%, but candidate Biden proposed raising that to 39.6% for individuals who earn over $1 million a year.
If he wants to do it on party lines, that means getting everyone from Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema on board to Senator Bernie Sanders on board.
Another reason the president's tax plans are only just taking shape is because his administration is waiting on other items, such as how much Congress approves of the $1.9 trillion in COVID relief spending the White House has requested and how high the minimum wage might be raised. Outside the nation's capital, James Rosen.
Happening now, former Georgia Senator David Perdue says he will not seek re-election in 2022. He was defeated in that special runoff election last month by Democratic candidate Jon Ossoff. Perdue was considering running for Reverend Raphael Warnock's seat, though, and it comes up next year, but that's not going to happen now. He previously filed initial paperwork to run. Perdue says his decision to drop out is personal and not political.
There's that boo bear. Here's my boo. All right, so let's see. I am looking to see what to do next. I have one video left for you all if you would like to see it. Otherwise, that's about it. I have the bright side. We'll play the bright side commercial because I love that Canadian girl. Love Canadian girls.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
There's my boober. Hey, buddy. Did you get bacon? Do you have bacon? I think he got bacon. Bacon is good. I know I got bacon. All right, G13. I have a G13 cross. I can't remember which one it is, but I do have a G13 cross. I have a blockhead cross. I have a couple of blockhead crosses that I'm really looking forward to. Because I always like the blockhead. That's some good stuff. All right, so I have one more video about canceling Newsmax. Do you guys want to see that video? Or do you want to call and we'll have a little chat? Or should I just play the video? Just play the fucking video! Should I play the video? You want me to play the video? Play the video? Huh? Should I play the video?
Here's a suggestion. Just don't be a-holes. Here's a suggestion. Just don't be a-holes. Here's a suggestion. Just don't be a-holes.
She's a bitch,
Yeah.
right? She's
Don't
a
be an
bitch,
a-hole,
right?
Boo-boo bear.
She's a bitch, right?
Don't be an
She's a
a-hole.
bitch, right? She's a bitch.
Are you being an a-hole, boo-boo bear? Don't be an a-hole. Don't be an a-hole. You're my beautiful baby. You're my beautiful baby. All right, so I have one more video left. And I did them all. Look, I did them all. I came prepared. I did them all except for this one. Cancel Newsmax. You guys want to see the Cancel Newsmax video? I can play it. I've done it before. I'll do it again. All right. You're asking for it. Here we go. Cancel Newsmax. This is members of Congress asking to cancel Newsmax, right? This is the most un-American shit. These people in Congress just hate freedom. They hate freedom of the press. They hate freedom of speech. They hate freedom to protest. They hate freedom. They hate they love the drug war. This is partially why I despise these people so much. You know, Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, fucking Ron Johnson. These people have done everything in their power to keep the drug war firmly in place. This drug war that anyone can see has brought us a heroin epidemic, a meth epidemic, a crime epidemic. No, we got to keep that firmly in place. They fought tooth and nail to make sure that didn't go anywhere instead of fighting for freedom. And for that, I will despise them my entire life. And now they're trying to cancel a news channel like they did to RT. They had RT kicked off the air too. There wasn't a lot of discussion about it happening. Why? Because it's against freedom. And they don't want to have a discussion about how much they hate your freedom. The freedom of the press, the freedom of speech, freedom to do what you want to do.
Folks, I never had any idea that I would be under threat of cancellation, a TV show being canceled, by my ratings being too good. That's what's going on right now. Because Newsmax is getting a lot of attention right now, because we're doing very well, because people are noticing what we're doing, the truth we're speaking, guess what? That's bringing a lot of heat our way. Right now, members of Congress, actual sitting members of Congress, are sending out official letters to cable companies telling them to kick us off their cable systems. Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't that a little bit scary? Doesn't that sound like McCarthyism? Just a little bit. I don't know if I would have made the connection to McCarthyism had I not read Professor Alan Dershowitz's new Newsmax article, where he makes the case that what we're facing is something akin to McCarthyism. When they were going after communism, it's a little bit different, but same principle. Professor, welcome back. How are you?
Well, thanks. When I was growing up, there was McCarthyism, and there was something called red channels, where McCarthy and his henchmen would write letters on senatorial or congressional stationery telling TV networks, you better take so-and-so off the air. Why do you have so-and-so off the air? Explain why so-and-so, who once went to a meeting in 1930 of a communist party, why is that person still on the air? And as the result of getting those letters, Red Channels was formed. It was an informal group which listed TV stations that had people who were accused of being left or communist, and it really put about censorship, real censorship. It was self-censorship. And when I read this letter from these two ill-advised, maybe well-intentioned members of Congress from Silicon Valley, who were probably trying to protect more or less their own constituents, namely the big tech, from intrusion, and instead they're going after Fox and Newsmax, it really reminded me of when I was growing up with McCarthyism. So I made the comparison, and I think it's an apt one, and it's very, very scary.
Well, thank you for doing that. By the way, I think if I wanted to, look, we want to beat CNN, but I want CNN to exist. But if I wanted to, and I think if other conservatives wanted to, they could make the case that mainstream media helped incite riots from coast to coast. Now, we believe, and I think the numbers support us, that they have exaggerated the threat that black men face from law enforcement. They have pumped up those numbers and created an unreasonable fear of law enforcement, a resentment of law enforcement, and there have been all kinds of riots. So, you know what? Maybe I should write a letter to my congressperson and try to say CNN has incited riots. This should not last.
Well, the important question is not whether you're right or they're right, but why we shouldn't have the right to flip the channel and listen to what they have to say, listen to what you have to say, listen to what Fox has to say, listen to what MSNBC has to say. It's a marketplace of ideas, and we have the right to pick and choose. And I think it's a healthier and better country when we can flip the channels instead of turning to a channel and finding out it's no longer on your cable server because some congressman said we don't like it. Look, the worst offender is CNN. They doctor tapes, they edit sound bites, they deliberately leave out things. Two examples. When President Trump made his famous speech in the Capitol, they left out the fact that he said patriotically, peacefully, have your voices heard. When he spoke in Charlottesville, they left out the fact that he said, I'm not including among fine people neo-Nazis and white supremacists. They should be condemned. By the way, NPR, National Public Radio, Public Television, did the same thing. If you want to learn what Trump actually said, you had to listen to Newsmax or Fox or maybe some of the others. The point is that Americans should have the right to pick and choose what channels we want to watch. And it shouldn't be up to the cable providers, and it certainly shouldn't be up to members of Congress. You know, it was Bill Safire, the great commentator, who once said, every American has the right to complain about what's on television, except Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam has to stay out of the newsrooms. He has to stay out of the editorial rooms. He has to stay out of television, newspapers. He is the umpire. You know, it's like in a football game. The official can't go over to one coach and say, you know, I don't like the way you're running the ball. I think you should be passing more. He's the official, and that's what the government has to be when it comes to free speech.
Who said that about Uncle Sam? Can't complain. Who was the...
All right, so I'm no fan of Newsmax, right? But the idea that, but I'm no fan of CNN. I'm no fan of MSNBC. I'm no fan of Fox News. And it's unfortunate that that's the kind of sources that we have. You know, the main so-called mainstream. It's really unfortunate that they misinform the people the way they do, but to act like somehow we are going to get rid of this, because I saw this happen to RT, to Russia Today. They actually got it taken off the dial. You can't find it on a cable news there's like 1,000 channels on my cable box, and there used to be at least 2 channels that I could watch Russia Today on, and they are no longer in existence. And now they want to do it to Newsmax, and I'm sure that was a government thing, and it's really sad that that's the kind of government that we have. You know, because RT is actually a good news source. They're always playing interesting stuff, always having interesting people that you can't find other places. You know, Ray McGovern. You know, I just it's messed up that this is the people that are supposed to be protecting our freedoms, supposed to be protecting freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom, privacy. You know, they do anything but protect those things. They chip away at them, and you know, one of the best reasons to just despise these fuckers left and right. You know, every single member of Congress is because, except for Tulsi, and actually Bernie has spoken out about the drug, but they've done everything they can to keep the drug war in place. You know, how many people did that hurt? You know, Bernie Sanders calls it institutionalized racism. So they know what they're doing, because Bernie said it again and again and again at every single campaign speech in 2016, where he had giant crowds. Institutionalized racism. That's what the drug war is. So, and the reason I say that Bernie said it is because that means that all of his people, you know, all of his co-workers, all of his peers, so to speak, all the members of Congress, they know this too. They know it's institutionalized racism. They've heard the speeches, and they're good with that. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, you know, what's the woman, Walters, you know, what's the Walters woman from Texas, Sheila Jackson Lee, all these people, you know, who know the damage what the drug war does. It's brought us a heroin epidemic, it's brought us a crime epidemic, it's brought us a meth epidemic, it's brought us institutionalized racism. They do nothing except for fight to keep. I wish that they did nothing. If they did nothing, we'd be much better off. In fact, that's the government that we should have. We should have a government that focuses on, you know, what is it that we should be making happen for our fellow man, instead of how do we limit their freedom more and more and more. You know, and when they don't do anything, like no news is good news, you know, if people like Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell aren't making something happen, that's probably a really good thing. Because all they seem to do is chip away at our so-called rights and our Constitution, which they vow to protect. All right, I'm all out of videos. So I came to take phone calls, play videos, and smoke fat dabs, and I have done all of those things. So I'm going to go get some food. We brushed teethies last night, so it's not teethy brushing day today. And to you guys who are like, oh yeah, your dog knows what the word pizza means. You know what pizza means, boo-boo? You like pizza? likes pizza. We had pizza last night. You know, I say it's time to brush teethies, and the dog go and get in the position where they brush teeth at. Okay, with the dogs. I'll get those videos in place for you next week. If you want to see them, I'll put them up on the back for background teeth debrushing day. But you can see in the video, I say, girl, time to brush teethies. And she gets up on the couch to have her teeth brushed. They're very, you know, they know a lot of words. So, anyways, I'm all out of videos. Boo Bear's ready for a treat. I'm ready for a treat. So, it's nice to see you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's always better when you're here. Never forget, we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back tomorrow. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. Till then, stay cool, because one of these days, this war is going to end. See, he's like, all right, we're almost out of here. One of these days, this war is going to end. You know so many words, huh? Yeah, I know you're a very smart boy. One of these days, this war is going to end. Stay cool till then.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories, 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't